Welcome back. We are still talking some high school sports, and I tell you what, we had a bunch of just great matchups this week, including a big one last night when Lake was trying to pull off the upset against Milford. Early on this one, it's the Spartans' DJ Cornish pulling up from the land of plenty and buries that one to give his team the lead in this. But back comes Milford. It's Breon Murray this time. The nice stop and pop on the little mid-range jumper. That is good. But it's just a Lake would actually come back in this thing. Another Aaron Ingram going to the work right here. Gets the sweet up and under move for two. We would head to overtime, but there the Bucks would grind this one out. Kevin Cannon just misses the dunk right there, but Henry Naismith has come up huge all year long. Gets a cleanup bucket right there. Milford gets the critical win, 69-64, the final in overtime.
And earlier today, Dover was at home taking on Middletown. And the first play of the game, Brian Pettit gets the putback basket to get things going. Next play, Middletown's Andre Cunningham knocks down the three from the top of the arc, but there is this kid named Jordan Allen. And did I mention that he stole the show today? Allen showing off his range, and he starts to have some fun with it. You'll see him on this one. He comes back, he keeps it cool, but right here he turns and looks at the crowd like, did you just see that one? Throws that down. He would finish with 40 points. And did I say that he can pass also? Inside there to Nelson Telemac. He gets the big finish, and they're just having some fun. The Senators go on to win this one 79-44.
They're playing some great ball lately. Well, Woodbridge was hosting Laurel on senior night yesterday, and it would be a huge night for one senior, Randy DuPont. Early on, goes baseline on the pump fake, knocks down that jumper. But back come the Bulldogs. It's Gary Warren. He is pretty solid in his own right. Pulls up from distance, buries that three ball. He had a team-high 17 second half, still a tight ball game when Jamie Ross goes behind the back. A pretty play to DuPont, who gets the finish. Woodbridge up just one here with 2 minutes left for DuPont. Another big jumper, letting the crowd know about it. He had a game-high 25, but this would be your ball game. Laurel down one with the ball with 20 seconds left. Chucky August on the drive, gets a lot of contact, but no call. The Blue Raiders come up with a loose ball. They would hit their free throws to seal this one up. Woodbridge would go on to get the win.
And Seaford was at home taking on Delmar. The Blue Jays hanging in this one tough. Jaquan Darling drives down the lane and gets the lane plus the foul. He would finish the game with 19 points, but back come the Cats. Larry Ennis takes this one to the baseline. Check out that reverse lane for two of his 29 points. Larry, did you get that? Thank you for the call right there. Now we're all tied up, but Delmar's other senior, Shane Leatherberry, right there would get the pretty up and under move through traffic to get the go-ahead. But Seaford would pull this one out. Leatherberry gets the block, but R.J. Smith is there for the putback. I love the way he plays. He led his team with 20 points as Seaford takes this one 84-76.
What a week for Seaford. I tell you what, they came out of nowhere. Well, seriously, you look at the base side and you look at really as well as the handle up. And the top team is about the same. Everything else, shuffle them up because it was a wild week. This
was probably one of the craziest weeks that we've had so far just because of the matchups. And obviously that means that our power rankings are going to change. So we do have Trey Miles, who is standing beside Trey. I have to know what your rankings are going to be for this week.
You know what, Angela? Week 10 was one of the most exciting weeks of basketball I think we've had. When we look back at this season, we will remember this week for the memorable stretch of days. Y-High is going to kick it off. Our list at number one, of course, Coach Butch Waller and those Indians are the Bayside South champions, back in the third title game in the last 5 years. Pocomoke and Washington at 2 and 3. They split the season series, so I'm giving the edge to Pocomoke. Parkside 0 and 2 this week. Things not looking good over there right now. And the North champion, Kent County, coming in again at number 5. In the first state, here's where things got interesting, guys. Polytech, clear-cut number 1. In reality, guys, they should be number 1 through 5, the way everyone else looks. Smyrna back up to number 2 after being 3 last week. Dover rising from the dead, winners of 5 straight after today's win. The Milford Bucks with the inside track to win the South. They check back in at 4. And Laurel in contention for the worst week ever, going 0-2 this week against 2 teams with combined 15 and 21 records. That's how you fall from second in my rankings to out of the rankings, especially this late in the season. Guys.
Yeah, I think Coach Phillips said it best. He tweeted after the Seaford loss, "I'm at a loss of words." And I think everybody was, because Laurel fell off. All right, let's start over in Maryland. I also have Y-High Poco at 1-2. Washington jumps Parkside as mine as well. I mean, Parkside has looked a shell of themselves since the start of the year. Kent County gets that 5th spot, and buckle up because it gets interesting when we go to Delaware. Clearly it's Pauley than everybody else, but Smyrna gets the 2 spot. I got Milford, who I didn't have ranked last week, coming in at number 3. Then I got Dover at 4, who also I didn't have ranked last week. And then it came down to between Delmar and Laurel. I'm going to go Delmar. Everybody knows that. I'm clearly going with Delmar in that one.
Okay, well, that was obvious in their game that you played when you wore the Delmar jersey. But I'm going to start over in Maryland. Y-High, obviously. Then I'm going to go with Poco. Then I'm going to stick with Parkside. I still believe in their talent there. I know that they've been falling off a little bit, but then I'll hit Washington right there. And then Kent County, I'll have them up at number 5. And then onto the Delaware side. Also, this is where it gets tricky for me. I've got Poly. Then I'm going to put Smyrna and Dover up there. Then I'm going to go Milford. This is where it is. Sussex Tech. I'm putting up there. I know that they just lost to Cape Henlopen, but they have a lot of talent. And if you match them up to the other teams that you guys have listed, I just think that they could pull off the win.
That
despite
Sussex
what
Tech's
happens.
turning into the same thing as Parkside. A ton of talent, and they're just not living up to it right now. It's
Yeah.
tough to watch right now. Well,
It is.
it's time for another quick commercial break, but coming up next, it's time to take it to the campus. A bunch of our college teams were in action today. Could SU get another conference win? We'll stick around to find out.
Dejan Pittman, North Dorchester High School. You're watching Delmar Sports Insider.